G'day. How are we all? Hope things are great at your end of this great land. What are we? Tuesday night, 7:30. I think we're all going well. Got a little bit of shadowing on my. Still figuring out the lights in my office. Hope you've had a great week since last time. Hope everyone can hear me. I'm just going to pull this down a little bit, just so people might be able to hear me a bit better. Oh, here we go. We got the old mic in there. Have we got anyone live there? Have we got anyone live? Anyone out there? Facebook land watching? Hello, we've got someone there. That's good. All right. So I'm going to get into it. A bit nasally today. Hay fever's been getting me the last few days. Plenty of pollen. So anyway, that's enough. I did a little bit of intro for those that are slow getting here. Weather report, Darling Downs, single digits. It's been great morning weather. Getting through the late 20s. Hope that works for all you guys. Harvesting, cutting hay, doing what you do. You know, it's always good to keep those farmers in mind while they're trying to get about making our food for us. So, I think we got rain for a lot of the country, particularly, throughout New South Wales and Queensland. I think we got Thursday, Friday. I just made a few notes down here. Thursday, Friday, plenty of rain, and I think Friday about 20 mil where I am. They're predicting upwards of that sort of weather. Let us know in the comments what's going on in the weather in your area. You got heaps, you got none, hot, dry. Always good to have a chat about the weather. Get a conversation started down in the comments. All right. Just do a bit of a roundup. I always like doing that roundup around the trap, seeing what's been happening, both rurally, agriculturally, out in Optic's land shooting. I didn't get a chance this week to grab heaps, but I got a little bit there to talk about. Last week I caught up with you about the International Precision Rifle Federation and the Australian team that's over there. Those guys did really well. They finished 5th overall. There was 266 competitors from around the world, and there was plenty of Aussies that placed really high in the places and actually brought some trophies home to their particular divisions. Another one related to Precision Rifle Series out at Jindawi, the Jinghai Valley Reckoning. That's a national level match here in Australia. For all those that don't know what Precision Rifle Series is or that style of shooting, it's movement with a rifle. It attracts people young and old, male, female, disability. It's a great thing you can do with your rifle. It does simulate some field shooting, so getting in awkward positions on rocks or trees and those kind of things. So it's really good to test out your practical skills and compete with your mates. And it's all very safe. It's all on a square range, so there's no rifles crossing each other. Something I enjoy to do when I can get out there. So that was the first national match in Queensland for some time. There was a great turnout. First overall was Aaron. Second was Guy. Third was Chris. A few special mentions to some locals. Marco got top marksman, a local Queenslander. Lockie, an adopted Queenslander, is got top production. And a real local lady, Joanne, got top lady. So Joanne has been shooting all that long. So congrats to her for taking out a trophy at a national match. I believe it was her first national match, so that's fantastic. What else can I see on my list to talk about? Let me just have a look here while we're doing a bit of live stuff. I'm just going to duck up to Facebook and see what's going on here. Hey, Chris. Hey, cousin Kim. Nice to know the family supporting us. Hello, my darling wife. Hope you're all doing well your end of the planet, guys. Let me see what else do I have here. So I've got interest rates on hold again. That's great. I saw that news. Must have been yesterday. Glad to see. Just frankly, I'm getting quite sick of the government going backwards and forwards on the interest rate. It all affects us. Cost of living crisis. I just wish someone would do something about it. It's very hard to stay positive in the market no matter what you're doing. because to see the play out on national TV, the Treasurer and the RBA going at each other saying it's not my fault. Look over there. Oh no, look over here. Anyway, it's the politicians' two-step dance that they're used to doing. So it'd be nice to have that sorted out. Another one, bit of political related. ACCC finally going after Coles and Woolworths for price gouging. I think that was announced Monday or Tuesday as well. You know, we all feel that. We're all got to shop. We've got to buy groceries, most of us. We all saw it, not just through COVID and the long-lasting excuses since. You know, the sheep price, for example. If you're in Western Australia and you're not going to Coles or Woolworths and buying lamb for pittance because they are just absolutely destocking over there, from what I hear, based on the live export issue. You know, lambs are quite cheap. There's people that are staying in it that didn't live export that are buying whole mobs cheap. So there's other people that can't even sell them. So why you should be paying, you know, $20 for 4 chops at Woolworths, I've got no idea. Fuel's not that good. So, yeah, glad to see. I'd be interested to see what the ACCC actually does about that. Touching on that, the Keep the Sheep movement, follow that. It's worth listening to. I think it's the tip of the iceberg when it comes to a lot of other issues in agriculture. I think a lot of people are waiting to see if our government's going to be able to sort this out. I saw an article today, I think it was in Queensland Country Life, that the Western Australian farmers are still waiting to find how they get access to the $107 million that's been allowed to transition away from live export sheep. But no one knows how to get the funding or how to get access to it because it hasn't been finalised. So that's been dragging on for months, if I recall the article correctly. But Queensland Country Life, check it out. Another one I've spotted in the QCL this week, Bundaberg coal mine, the Fox mine, got knocked on the head. I believe it was going to be an underground mine that was basically quite a lot of fertile crop growing, vegetable growing area through there. That was going to be affected. So the minister actually knocked it on the head, which was nice to see because I wasn't really across that issue, but I guess for the people there, it was an issue. They've done a good job to raise it to the minister's attention and get it knocked on the head finally. A couple of other points. These are a bit of charitable relations. One of these is pretty close to my heart. HeartKids, the 2 feet in the heartbeat walk, Sunday the 13th of October. So it's a couple of weeks away. Just to give you an idea, that supports families and kids that have childhood-onset heart disease. It's one of the leading causes of death for infants. There are 8 babies born every day with this, and this charity supports that. There's a couple of places you can go to find out some more information. 2feetheartbeat.org.au is a good one. There's plenty of walks around. Get out there, put a few paces. This one affects my family directly, so my little boy will be having a heart operation only a week or so before that date. So I hope to be able to get away there for a moment to go and try and join that walk. So another place to go if you just want to donate, HeartKids.org. They do a lot with Ronald McDonald. They do a lot with radio stations. There's always raffles, there's prizes. They have great Facebook pages. If you do have someone in your family or someone close to you that has been affected by childhood-onset heart disease, there's no known cure. Support them. I'd appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Good article from the Queensland Country Life once again. I spotted only this afternoon, actually. Roma Salad Yards there beefs up support for Life Flight. So the Tuesday cattle sale there at Roma, they donated $25,000 to Life Flight, thanks to the regional council out there. That's a terrific effort. Anyone who's lived in the bush, that's even 2 hours from a capital city knows that anything that you can do to help support those kind of emergencies are really, really well thought of in the bush. Most bush people get behind it because it'll be your brother or dad or someone that needs to use that helicopter one day if you're more than a handful of minutes from the hospitals. Rightio, that'll do for a bit of a roundup. That's what I noticed around the traps. If you want me to say anything about what's going on in your local area, give us a hoy. If you've got something, a charity, a clay target shoot, something that's concerning you in your community, you want the message spread, please just drop me a comment. I'll give you a yell. I'll send you an email address, whatever you need to do. Happy to share it as best I can. For the whole 6 people that are probably listening to us, check out. We've got 3. We're doing really well. So hopefully this streams out in 4K. I'll post it up on YouTube and that later on. But we'll keep going. Let me just see. If I didn't show it already, heartkids.org.au. Can't find the 2 feet for a beat, or you just want to donate or find more information, heartkids.org.au is a great place to go. So, we've been going a little bit on understanding basic optics in the last 3 or 4 since we started these. I want to keep it down that vein. I want to just reframe what we're talking about here. What we're talking about has been an average punter in Australia looking to buy a new optic for whatever their particular purpose is. And I'm going to dumb it down, really average optics user, probably being a bush user. It might be someone that's using it for agriculture. It might be someone that's recreational hunting that's doing a lot of cull work. Someone who necessarily isn't at the pointy end of competition. They're not necessarily the pointy end of the market when it comes to how much money, how much budget they've got to spend, I should say. So I just wanted to reframe, and that's the perspective that I want to talk to these little optics points about. So I've made a few notes here, so if I glance down, I'm just trying to stay on track a little bit here for you. I'm trying to get these to half an hour is what I'm trying to do. So a couple of little things here. When you talk MIL versus MOA, what do you need to consider when buying an optic? It's something that sprung to my attention once again at a phone call, and most of my things that I want to talk about on these Tuesday lives is essentially just something was triggered through the week. And this is a really common one. It happens every day in retail outlets. But this one happened to me, phone call, mate of mine from down in New South Wales, Brad. He's got a particular new bit of kit that he's setting up, and MIL versus MOA. He found one online. It was MIL, an optic, another brand. It was a good price, and he wanted to know what my thoughts were and whether it would suit him, knowing quite often we shoot together and hunt together. So he wanted to know my opinion. With that, again, that lens, we'll keep trudging down. There is 1,000 YouTube videos. I had a Google before this started on MIL versus MOA, what the nitty gritty is, getting really into the weeds, half an hour, 45 minutes, just getting into the technical part of it. I'm not going to be doing that. What I will do is keep that nice, simple lens that we're trying to focus in on. So, start off. You say, what is a MIL and what is an MOA? Like, it is super simple. They are both just angular measurements. That's all they are. It goes back to year 10 trigonometry. That's all it is. A milliradian versus a minute of angle. That's exactly what the big word means. And most of the time they're going to be abbreviated, whether it's on the box, whether it's in literature you find, whether it's general conversation between friends, it'll be down to MIL and MOA. I like to think of it very much as imperial and metric, because I think a lot of average people can get that, particularly the older guys that are still got half a foot in the imperial system from, the pre-decimal system, what's that, pre-1967. But essentially, that's the way I like to explain it to the everyday person. It would be, it works better with meters. It converts more simpler. There's less maths. And hang on with me here because I said maths. So just hang on. And MOA is very much what you've been used to, particularly in optics. You start talking inches at 100 yards. And that's very common still across the world. Very, very common. Excuse me there. And both systems work for everyone. No problem at all. They will do what you need it to do. However, there's some norms or some things that I see that happen with construction of these optics. And I'm going to go through some of that. And I just finish one point off. I just talked about that metric versus imperials. To give you an idea, a mil or a milliradian, 1 milliradian at 100 meters is 10 centimeters. So quite a coarse adjustment if you look at that. Now, a lot of optics, like our long reach product, is 1/10 clicks. So it's 1 centimeter each click is worth. Now, when you go down and you look MOA or mince of angle, it's generally an easier worked out in inches or yards. So if we set it 100 yards, 1 MOA would be equal to 1 inch. It's really easy. So when you're going to buy an optic, you're looking at those turrets, that big tall part. I should have thought that out. We've got some behind me there. That turret that you use to put your paper, your holes on the paper, in the same spot, the same plane, if you like, as the crosshairs are, or zero your rifle. When you go to do that, you'll find that the turret has a measurement on top of it. And it'll say 1/4 MOA, or each click is worth 1/4 inch. So to think about that, using that MOA system, each click is worth 1/4 of an inch at 100 yards. Each little tiny click. So that's, without getting me centimeters out, I'm going to say it's like 0.6 or something like that. I'm going to say it's quite small. 0.6 centimeters, sorry. So yeah, each click's going to be worth 0.6 centimeters. So a lot of people can't even understand, like, you can't fathom what that looks like on a bit of paper for most people. So when you say it's worth an inch, if you're bred in that way that you understand what the inches are, it's 2.5 centimeters. That's perfect. You can get a nice fine adjustment when you're zeroing that rifle optic. So that gives you a little bit of an understanding. So a mil at 100 meters, not yards, 100 meters, 0.1 of a mil is 1 centimeter. 1 complete milliradian is 10 centimeters. So, like I said, it's a much coarser adjustment when you look at how that works, and depending on how the clicks are on your turret, it will make a difference for the type of shooting that you're doing. So I'm going to wrap that up with some questions I pose. And again, we're dumbing this down. I hate to say that dumbing, but we're boiling all this information down with some questions so that when you're looking, like my friend Brad, to buy an optic and mill an MOA other conversations, what I think you should do is frame it this way. Will I be using a ballistic calculator when I'm using my optic? Will I be shooting with others regularly who speak one language or another? It actually makes a lot of difference. From someone who tries to have a go at competition rifle shooting when I get the chance. I'm no good, but I enjoy getting out there and having a go. I understand those principles. But if you're the only person out of 50 people using optics that day speaking Japanese, everyone else is speaking English, that can make the learning curve a bit steeper, a bit harder. So what you tend to find is at that upper end of the pointy end of the competition circuit, where people are buying equipment because they're enjoying a particular sport, what they're going to do is probably do what everyone else does in that discipline. And if everyone's speaking well, you'll find that most people will buy a mil scope because they won't be the only one speaking Japanese, so will everyone else. So keep that in mind. Are you going to try and test yourself at ranges past 600? And what I'm really trying to do by that question is, have an honest think about what I'm going to do with the Optic. Am I going to have some fun shooting some steel targets with a few friends on a Sunday afternoon? Am I going to be pest culling, or kangaroo culling, or fox culling, or wild dog culling, or pig culling on a Monday or a Tuesday night? And those distances are 50 to 150 meters. Have a go at that, because there's a whole bunch of ballistics that change past 600 meters. And again, you're talking about how many clicks on dials and all sorts of things like that we're just glazing over the top of here, that you will need to consider. So some other real world examples here. Some manufacturers charge more for the same scope when it's in milliradians. I've seen it. So what I'm saying there is milliradian scope could be more expensive. There's a lot of manufacturers now that are offering them at the same price in the same configuration. So keep that in mind. Will you be ranging with your mill reticle? Now, I've skipped a step here. This is the question that you also should pose, and I'll circle back. Does that optic you're looking at with mill measurements on it have a mill reticle as well? So the crosshair in there, does it have some kind of graduation that you want to use that are in the same measurement as what the dials are? Now, for many years, there was a lot of top brand optics in the world that had mill crosshairs, so milliradian measurements in the crosshair, but had turrets that were still in MOA. So that there was conversions that had to be done, and all it can make it difficult depending on how you're going to use that optic. If you want to, again, and do some experimentation with ranging targets with the graduations that your particular optic have, that might suit you fantastically. Another question that I'll circle back to, will your turrets be exposed or capped? A lot of mill turrets are exposed turrets, meaning that you can adjust them. They might not have a lock on them. So if you're a hunter and you've got that rifle on your shoulder, walking through the bush, rub it on a bag, a backpack, your back, whatever's going on, you might find that exposed turret, because it may or may not have a lock system on it, is moving. And quite often you will find with some mill scopes is because they're more fit for purpose for, I'm going to say, long range shooting, or someone that's very prone, laying down on the ground, adjusting dials for different targets regularly. You'll find that they may not have a lock on. So therefore, if you're going to use it hunting, it could be a problem for you. So these are some questions that I want you to think about without getting into all the technical guff. And as I said, go and find a YouTube. There's Ryan Kleckner, and there's a whole bunch of stuff online. I'm sure the guys from Applied Ballistics and all those sort of people are going to have some great reference material there. This is just very much a simplistic, what do I need to think about when I'm going to buy one of these optics, and what works for me. So I'm going to wrap it up in a nice little bow. If you had the answer yes to any of those questions, yes, I want a range, yes, I want exposed turrets, yes, I will be using it for some small competition, answers yes to most of those questions for you, or some, it's well worth considering a mill. Am I an average punter? Once again, doing average things that guys do when cull work or bush shooting, if you want to call it, in Australia. And I'm going to sum it up from my perspective and my years in the trade and talking to people. I'm going to say the answer is probably no. We've been using MOA optics with quarter clicks, so quarter of an inch at 100 yards. 100 yards versus 100 meters is not that far when it comes to 223, 243, 308 type cartridges. The drop is not that much different. a lot of us will probably cite that Optic in and that combination, that package with your bang stick in to maybe half an inch high at 100 anyway. So your point of impact is going to print half an inch or, 1.25 centimeters higher potentially than wood. So taking all that into consideration, don't really need it. Don't let guys, I hear so many guys get convinced that they should buy a mill or they should buy a first focal plane or they should buy this because of all these things that, a young guy who's really keen on long range disciplines are recommending. And, there's a bit of peer pressure or a bit of bad research and then get home and it's a little bit of Japanese for them. So as I said, to wrap all that up, MOA scopes, whatever the click is, you can use it as long as the optic is fit for purpose is how you want to do it. The measurement number doesn't mean any difference or make any difference to you. If you can have that optic do what you need it to do, particularly if you're a bush shooter, if you just sight it in and forget, and until something changes and you need to touch it again, an MOA scope with a cap turret without any mill adjustments is probably the best optic for you because it's simple, it's tried and true. You'll have no drama with it. I hope that wraps it up. I was trying to keep it in a very narrow framework. We did talk about focal planes just briefly. I think we might dive next week into maybe some focal plane conversation again with that lens of trying to keep the average shooter's buying choices in mind. Thanks for watching. For those people that will watch over the coming weeks, seems to be what's going on. I look forward to building an audience with you guys. A couple other things I'd like to recap. Reminder on our new show. I'm banging a lot of Instagram. I should say a lot of YouTube at the moment. Instagram, Spotify account with our Outback Lens podcast. So this technically is an Outback Lens podcast live stream. And sponsor being Outback Optics. That's the best way to describe what this is. And on the Outback Lens, we'll do some more in-depth dives, agricultural issues, partnered with shooting in the coming weeks. I've got some interviews lined up and they'll take a lot more time to edit. And I've got some operations coming and some family stuff coming up in the coming weeks. So that first one might drop a little bit later than I hoped, but I hope to keep doing the weekly live streams just to be able to touch base with you all and hope, listen and build a community around what's going on in your local area. Thanks for all those people putting show us your gear submissions in. I am a couple behind on putting them up. I will get to them. I really appreciate you guys taking the effort of sending us a picture. A lot of guys like doing it on Facebook Messenger. That's cool. As I've said in the past, send us a smoke signal. We love it. So to round it out, if you're looking to get in touch with us, any one of our social handles, outbackoptics.com is a great way to get a hold of us. See your local stockist. Again, find us on the Outback Lens podcast. Trying to build a bit of following over there. If you found this, give us a thumbs up, drop us a comment. Love to have a chat about anything that we've spoken on here tonight. Correct me if you can. Everyone likes doing it. So hooroo, stay focused and have a great week and I hope to talk to you next week.